What if the most dangerous person in your life isn't your enemy? It isn't the colleague who undermines you, the stranger who mocks you online, or the voice in the crowd that says you're not enough. What if the most dangerous person in your life is the critic you've been listening to your entire life? The one whose opinion you've been shrinking yourself for, losing sleep over, abandoning your dreams for. And what if I told you that person has never once stepped into the arena? They have never risked failure. They have never allowed themselves to be truly seen. They have never dared to show up with a whole, open, trembling heart and said, "Here I am, this is me." They sit safely in the stands, voices loud, hearts completely hidden, and they count on you, they depend on you, staying small, staying quiet, staying afraid, because your courage makes their cowardice visible. So before this is over, I want you to ask yourself one question that might change the entire trajectory of your life. Whose voice are you actually living by? What if everything you believed about criticism, about judgment, about what other people think of you, what if all of it was built on a foundation that was never meant to hold the weight of your one precious, irreplaceable life? I want to start with something that I need you to feel in your body, not just hear with your ears. There is a massive difference between the people who are in the arena, who are showing up, who are getting their faces dirty with dust and sweat and sometimes blood, and the people sitting comfortably in the stands, arms crossed, voices sharp, never once having risked a single thing that truly mattered to them. And here is what most of us do. We give our entire lives, our joy, our creativity, our self-worth, our willingness to try to the people in the stands. We perform for them. We edit ourselves for them. We abandon our most authentic ideas because we are terrified of what they might say. We shrink, we silence, we disappear slowly, quietly, painfully, all because we have given the wrong people the microphone inside our own minds. The research I've spent over 2 decades doing, talking to thousands of people about shame, vulnerability, courage, and belonging has shown me something that is simultaneously devastating and deeply liberating. The people who are the most courageous are not the people who are free from criticism. They are not the people who have figured out how to make everyone comfortable. They are the people who have learned, often through tremendous pain, whose opinions actually count. Let me tell you what shame does to us, because this is where it all starts. Shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Not guilt. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad. And when we carry that belief, when we walk around convinced, somewhere deep in our nervous system, that we are fundamentally not enough, we become incredibly, dangerously vulnerable to the opinions of anyone who seems to confirm that fear. That is why criticism hits so hard. It is not just feedback. It activates something ancient in us, something primal, the fear of not belonging, the fear of being cast out, the fear of being seen clearly and still being found wanting. And so we do what any reasonable, terrified human being does. We protect ourselves. We build armor. The armor looks different for different people. For some of us, it looks like perfectionism. If I can just be perfect enough, produce enough, achieve enough, then no one can touch me with their criticism because I will have left them nothing to criticize. For some of us, the armor looks like people-pleasing. If I can make everyone comfortable, if I can smooth every edge and soften every truth, then I will be safe from their judgment. For some of us, the armor looks like cynicism. I will criticize everything first, loudly and publicly, so no one ever suspects that I actually care, that I am actually terrified, that I actually long to try something real and meaningful and vulnerable. And here is the most heartbreaking part of all of this. The armor works. It genuinely, effectively keeps the pain out. But the same walls that keep pain out also keep love out. They keep joy out. They keep genuine connection out. They keep you out, your real, full, beautifully imperfect self, out of your own life. I want to talk about something I call wholehearted living, because this is the antidote. This is the path through. And it is not what most people expect it to be. Wholehearted people, the people who in my research reported the deepest sense of love, belonging, and meaning in their lives, are not people who have it figured out. They are not people who have escaped hardship or criticism or failure. In fact, they have often experienced more of all three than anyone around them. What makes them different is one thing, one fundamental, radical, countercultural belief. They believe they are worthy of love and belonging right now. Not when they lose the weight, not when they get the promotion, not when they finally produce something good enough right now as they are imperfect and afraid and still trying. That worthiness, that deep, settled, unshakable sense that you belong here, that you matter, that you are enough, is what allows a person to walk into the arena knowing they might fail and choosing to walk in anyway. That is courage, not the absence of fear. Not the guarantee of success, just the decision made again and again to show up rather than shrink. Now I want to talk about the arena itself, because this is where everything becomes concrete. The arena is different for every person. For you, the arena might be a difficult conversation you've been avoiding for months, maybe years. It might be creating something and letting people see it. It might be loving someone with your whole heart when there is absolutely no guarantee they will love you back in the same way. It might be leading people through change when you yourself are uncertain of the outcome. It might be asking for help when everything in you has been trained to believe that needing help is weakness. The arena is any place where you show up, where you are seen, where you allow yourself to be known, and where by the very nature of being visible, you become a potential target. And the moment you step into that arena, I promise you this, the critics will show up. They always do. Some will be strangers, some will be acquaintances. Some, and this is the part that stings the most, some will be people who once claimed to care about you. They will have opinions. They will share them, sometimes loudly, sometimes publicly, sometimes in the specific surgical language that finds your exact wound and presses on it with precision. And you will be tempted because you are human, because connection matters to you, because belonging is a need, not a preference. You will be tempted to let those voices define you. But here's what I need you to understand, and I need you to understand it not just intellectually, but in the marrow of your bones. The critic in the stands has no authority over the person in the arena. None. Zero. They are not paying the price you are paying. They are not carrying the weight you are carrying. They are not lying awake at 3 a.m. asking themselves whether what they're doing matters. They have chosen the safety of the sideline. And from that position of perfect safety, they are offering judgment on what you are doing in the messy, imperfect, glorious middle of actually trying. Their opinion does not count, not because they are bad people. Some of them are simply afraid, and fear makes critics of us all at our worst, but because they have not earned the right. Feedback belongs to people who are also in the arena. Criticism is only useful data from people who love you and who want your best, most authentic life for you, not the version that makes them most comfortable. This is why I ask people, and I am asking you now, to take a small piece of paper, a literal small piece of paper, and write down the names of the people whose opinions of you actually matter, the people who love you not despite your imperfections, but with full knowledge of them, the people who, when they come to you with a hard truth, you can feel that it is coming from love rather than judgment, the people who are also in their own arenas, also getting their own faces dirty, also showing up scared. For most people, that list is very small. Sometimes it fits on one hand. Sometimes it is 2 or 3 names. And that is not a tragedy, that is clarity, because when you know whose voices belong in your head, you can gently, firmly, with self-compassion and without cruelty, ask everyone else's voice to step back. You are allowed to do that. You are not obligated to carry every opinion that has ever been thrown at you. You are not a vessel for other people's unexamined fears. You are a person who is trying, bravely, imperfectly, beautifully trying, and that trying is sacred. That showing up is sacred, and it deserves to be protected. I also want to say something about failure, because we cannot talk about the arena without talking about what happens when we fall down in it. And we will fall, not might, will. Every single person who has ever dared greatly has experienced failure. The question is not how to avoid it. The question is what story you tell yourself when it happens. The wholehearted response to failure is not to immediately scan the stands for confirmation that you are not enough. The wholehearted response is to acknowledge the pain, to sit with the discomfort without numbing it away, and then to ask yourself, what did this teach me? How does this make me braver? What do I want to try next? Failure is not evidence of your unworthiness. Failure is evidence that you were in the arena. Failure is the tuition of a life lived with courage. And I want to speak to the part of you, because I know this part exists in every person in this room, the part of you that is quietly, persistently, exhaustedly wondering, is it worth it? Is the vulnerability worth it? Is the risk worth it? Is showing up, knowing I might be criticized, knowing I might fail, knowing I might be seen and still found not enough? Is all of that actually worth it? Yes. With every cell of my being and every hour of research I have done and every story of courage I have been privileged enough to witness, yes. Because the alternative, the life lived in the stands, safely behind armor, never risking, never truly connecting, never creating anything that carries your actual fingerprints, that life comes with its own quiet devastation. It is the devastation of the question you'll ask yourself when you are very old and very honest, what would I have done if I had believed I was enough? You are enough. You were enough before you proved it to anyone. You are enough in your uncertainty and your imperfection and your beautiful, terrifying willingness to try. The critic in the stands does not get to decide that. The number of likes does not get to decide that. The approval of people who have never once shown you their own vulnerability does not get to decide that. You decide, and you decide by showing up, by choosing the arena over the stands every single time, even when you're shaking, even when you're not sure, even when the crowd is loud and unkind. Step into the arena, show up, dare greatly, because the world does not need more people safely watching from the sidelines. The world needs you, fully, courageously, vulnerably, wonderfully you, in the arena. What began as a question, what if the critics aren't the ones who count, ends as a truth you can carry with you from this moment forward. The critics will always exist. The stands will always be full. But the arena, that sacred, difficult, meaningful space where you show up as your full self and that belongs to you. It has always belonged to you. Worthiness is not something you earn by silencing your critics. Worthiness is the quiet, radical act of deciding before anyone else agrees that your voice matters, your heart matters, your presence matters. You are not here to perform for the stands. You are here to live fully, courageously, with your whole heart in the arena, and that, more than any approval you could ever receive, is enough.